Morale sucks. Plain and simple.
Charles Barkley sounded off on the injustices hoops fans feel.
Now for an exclusive interview, David Zaslav, Warner Brothers Discovery CEO.
Specifically with this man, David Zaslav, making enemies out of our community.
I just feel so bad for the people I work with, Dan. These people have families, and I just really feel bad for them right now. These people I work with, they've screwed this thing up clearly. And we don't have zero idea what's going to happen. I don't feel good, I'm not going to lie, especially when they came out yesterday and said we bought college football. I was like, well, damn, they could have used that money to buy the NBA.
If one is somehow unaware.
Charles Barkley, one of the NBA's 50 greatest players of all time and a perennial member of the all-interview team, is coming to Turner Sports as an analyst. Charles, pleasure to have you with us tonight.
Barkley has co-hosted Inside the NBA with Ernie Johnson and Kenny the Jet Smith for decades. However, their reign may come to an end because Warner Brothers is losing out on the rights to carry NBA games with the league's deal expiring. Amazon, Disney, and NBC are looking like the new homes.
Everybody's signing with my production company because I have my own production company. And I would love to do that if we lose it. My two favorite wines are Inglenook and Opus. And these clowns I work for, they've turned us into Ripple and Boonesfarm and Thunderbird. Like, we got the best studio show. And it's so funny, we just won the best studio show, but these fools turned us from Inglenook and Opus into damn Boonesfarm and Ripple.
It is crazy, and it is true. As Warner Brothers Discovery does not see the value in NBA rights fees and the most coveted show in league history, they bagged 3 Emmys. One, as Chuck mentioned, for Outstanding Studio Show.
I've been spending a lot of time with the crew lately. They've been with these guys where I spent time with they bring their newborns in, they bring their kids in, they'd come in like when they were in high school, and now they're graduating for college. So yeah, I'm angry at people who, they're part of my family, to be honest with you.
To understand the kerfuffle.
More than AI, this is a fight against greed.
We must understand the greed, as laid out by New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Some people...
Let's put in perspective who we're dealing with. David Zaslav is a loathed man in the entertainment industry. At Boston University, graduates chanted against Zaslav for not paying writers, which forced a strike.
How many private jets does David Zaslav need?
Of course, with the work of activists, writers, producers, crew members, etc., justice was served, which, by the way, goes to show you how unity will always prevail.
We have some breaking news for you. CNN chairman and CEO Chris Licht is reportedly out at the network and will be replaced in the interim by top executive Amy Entelis.
Zaslav put Chris Licht in place, who was the orchestrator of this.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's the answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple you're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
Which was a disaster. Licht, who believed CNN needed to be more centrist, set Collins up to fail with what he called a Trumpy audience. What sealed his fate was the event, which was widely condemned, and a lengthy profile by Tim Alberta in The Atlantic. Licht essentially alienated his own workforce. So let's just go through the checklist here, shall we? HBO rebranding to Max, that was David Zaslav. Killing CNN Plus before it ever had a chance, that was Zaslav. Pulling cult-like following shows, Westworld and others from the streaming library, that is Zaslav. And why? Because they don't want to pay residuals. Firing tons and tons of employees over and over and over again as a business practice, Zaslav. He even made the news for putting the wheels in motion to kill Turner Classic Movies, a mainstay since the 1980s. Actors, directors, and more were enraged at his move to lay off the network's top management, some who had been there for decades. What it comes down to is bad business decisions that Zaslav is covering for, writes Alicia Adamczyk and Maya Samuel. The shareholders want the profits, which means we, the TV-loving consumers, lose out via cost-cutting measures. Warner Brothers Discovery has massive debt to this day. We give him credit. He was part of creating CNBC, although it gave us Jim Cramer, and MSNBC. All right, obviously, legacy media, staples. We get it. All right, we understand. The problem is we have seen a pattern with David Zaslav. He is credited with rebooting some networks as well, making tons of money in the process, but it leads down a dangerous path for us, the audience.
In 2007, Zaslav took over as CEO of Discovery, marking the beginning of his transformation into the industry antagonist. He quickly laid off a quarter of the staff and shifted operations, focusing almost exclusively on cheap, profitable reality television. Zaslav was responsible for highbrow programs like Here Comes Honey Boo Boo, Sex Sent Me to the ER, and My Big Fat Fabulous Life.
His pattern is simple. Strip down a network and reboot it with cost-cutting measures so he, along with shareholders, can afford another yacht or mansion. Capitalism, am I right? He is a wealthy man, with Adamczyk and Samuel writing in 2021. His widely publicized pay package was worth an astounding $247 million from the merger, including a multi-year grant of options to buy future shares. Fortune ranked him number 2 on a list of most overpaid CEOs in the Fortune 500 for 2022.
In the midst of the strike, Zaslav hosted a really cool party at the Cannes Film Festival. At the party celebrating Warner Bros., Zaslav posed with a bottle of Dom Perignon, while the writers of the shows on his platforms responsible for creating the content that lines his pockets struggled to make ends meet.
It seems quite obvious. If he can take the brunt, but it leads to stock prices soaring, none of the board members care. Which brings us back to inside the NBA. In November of 2022, Front Office Sports' Michael McCarthy quoted Zaslav as saying of the upcoming deal expiring with the association, quote, "We don't have to have the NBA." It was a shot being fired that signaled to Barkley, Ernie Johnson, Shaq, Kenny, and the inside team, plus fans everywhere, that this guy simply does not care in the slightest.
We don't need the NBA. Well, he don't need it, but the rest of the people, me, Kenny, Shaq, and Ernie, and the people who work there, we need it.
To give one an idea of what is being negotiated, there are 3 packages as reported by the Sports Business Journal and given a write-up via Liz Rocher of Yahoo Sports. She outlines that ESPN is reportedly paying a whopping $2.8 billion per year for the A package, which includes the NBA Finals, weekly primetime games, and the WNBA. NBC is reportedly paying $2.6 billion per year for the B package, which could include a studio show, a few primetime games per week, and 2 playoff series. Amazon's approximately $2 billion package is reportedly centered on the in-season tournament, the play-in tournament, and the WNBA. Once the contracts are finalized and each network finalizes their bids, the NBA will reportedly take the contract for NBC's B package to Warner Brothers Discovery, the current media rights holder, to allow them to match NBC's offer in total value. So what does this mean? From Rocher once more. Warner Brothers Discovery is reportedly $40 billion in debt and might not be able to beat NBC by simply overpaying. In that case, Warner Brothers Discovery could take the NBA to court over the definition of total value. If WBD's potential suit fails, the 24-25 season would be the NBA's last on TNT, putting an end to the beloved Inside the NBA show. The writing on the wall, however, may have been signaled when TNT opted to enter into an agreement with ESPN to sub-license college football playoff games from 2024 to 2028, meaning the network would air 2 quarterfinals in addition to the 2 first-round games. I end with this. Please save this show. In a dark media space, it is the beaming light. It is the brutally honest, not even persuasive, but out and about creativity of having these men who have the camaraderie over decades of working together to give brutally honest approaches on the NBA and much more. It is coveted. Please save it.